Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a long one. We are going to be doing a Q&A and I'm super excited. A few days ago, I posted on Instagram asking for some Q&A questions for a vlog, and I was blown away with the amount of questions. So I decided to sit down and answer all of them in this video here. What's really fun about this video is you're seeing it pretty much in real time. A lot of my previous videos have been vlogs that I am uploading before the end of the year, but this video, I'm filming it and you guys will see it a few days later. Now, before we jump in, I just want to wish you guys a very Merry Christmas if you celebrate. I think it will be a day or two after Christmas when you're watching this video. So I hope you had an amazing day filled with love and your family. I know, things in the world aren't looking necessarily the best right now, but I hope you're managing to stay positive and feel the love regardless of your situation. If you don't celebrate Christmas, I wish you happy holidays, happy December, and happy New Year. That's coming up so soon. So I have so many not only exciting questions that I'm answering in this video, but so many other videos coming up and getting ready for the new year. So make sure you stick around for those videos. Stick around for the Q&A. I hope you enjoy it. Let's get into it. So I want to give a huge shout out and say thank you to Enroute Jewelry for sponsoring today's video. All of the jewelry that I am wearing, this lovely pearl bracelet, this gorgeous necklace, and these cute earrings are from Enroute. They make really lovely, trendy, and timeless jewelry. I had so much fun picking out these pieces. The necklace and the earrings are called the Mirror Set. They are one of their best sellers, and I can see why, because they're so cute. Perfect for the holidays, and to go with it, I got this cute pearl bracelet. What I love is that the pearls are not all the same size, like they don't look factory made. They're all like unique and individual freshwater pearls. The bracelet is so cute and dainty, and the necklace is really, really fun. I also love just like these cute little dangly drop earrings and how they match with the necklace. It's so, so perfect. I wore these pieces out for dinner the other night and I tried to get a cute clip, but all I got was the close-ups that you guys were seeing. It was such a fail trying to film when like my dog was barking and my Uber was outside. Okay, action?
Yeah.
Okay, this is really difficult. It was just like a big mess, but I love that these pieces can be dressed up like in those clips or dressed down like I have them today, and I just feel so cute and girly in them. So thank you so much to Enroute for sponsoring. Make sure you guys check them out and use my link to take advantage of the discount code. Everything will be linked down below, including these pieces and the bracelet. Okay, so let's start with the first question. I answered this in a recent vlog, but I want to answer it again here to kick off this Q&A. And that question is, how are you really doing? I thought about this before filming because I knew I was going to touch on this question. And I just feel like I am all over the place, and I feel like I am kind of searching for peace and happiness, if that makes sense. This time of year is one where I often get very reflective. I tend to get quite sad, quite anxious, and it's a time where I like to turn inwards and be like, okay, what is doing me good? What is doing me not good? What are things that I want to keep doing? What are things that I want to get rid of? And I feel like I've kind of started that process, but I've just been feeling so busy and so overwhelmed lately that I constantly have this feeling like I'm rushing, and it leaves me with like a lot of anxiety and just like not feeling great. So yeah, I feel like in that video where I previously answered this question, I like didn't really know how to answer it, and I was like trying to say that like everything was good, but like then listening to my answer back, I was like, oh, maybe not, and like it's okay that it's not. And yeah, so I'm just realizing like I'm not super great right now. But I know it's gonna change, and I'm excited for it to change, if that makes sense. Like I'm excited for the new year. I'm excited to just sit down and carve out time to think about my goals and think about like what are the things that are gonna get me towards my goals, what are things that are gonna make me happy and feel more rested. I want 2022 to be more of a year about balance. 2021 had absolutely no balance. I feel like the whole year was just like a blur that went by in a rush, and like I definitely have some highlight moments, but there's a lot of time that I was just like, what was I even doing? And why was I so stressed? So yeah, that's kind of how I'm really doing. I'm in like a very reflective state and just trying to figure things out so that I can make things better for myself, like moving forward. I got a lot of questions about financial goals. Rest assured, you guys, there will be a separate video just for that coming in the new year. So I will touch on that. I am also going to be filming a reflection of last year's financial goals. So that will be up before the new goals go up because I want to reflect before setting new ones. So keep an eye out for that video. It'll probably be out within a week or so. And then we will talk about my new goals very, very soon. Okay, I'm going to answer this financial question. I really like it and I'm so excited to talk about it. Are you interested in or have you considered joining the FIRE movement? So for anyone who doesn't know, the FIRE movement is Financial Independence Retire Early. It is, I would say, a community or a lifestyle that, from my understanding, involves being very frugal while you're young so that you can gain financial independence and retire early and spend the rest of your days doing whatever you want. Now, my dad really wanted me to get into this, and he used to send me lots of blogs and articles about like ways to hack really cheap cell phone bills and like, you know, ways to cut all your costs. And if it were up to my dad, like I would live in a shoebox with 12 roommates just so that I can like save money and then buy an investment property. And all of these are, to me, what make the FIRE movement too extreme for my taste. You guys know me through my vlogs. You know, I like to shop. You know, I like my big apartment. You know, I like nice things and I like to spend money. Well, I can be very frugal in certain areas. There's other areas where I'm simply not willing to cut back on, such as living with a roommate. So for those reasons, I don't consider myself like a FIRE member, or I wouldn't consider myself following that lifestyle. That being said, I am really big on financial independence, but I think there's other ways to achieve it. You guys, if I was super frugal, I would be like so well off. I would have so much money in savings just because I found ways to like earn extra money, such as through a YouTube channel. But when I'm done using something, I sell it. And like I've participated in like studies, not medical studies, but like studies at the university that are totally harmless that earn you 30 bucks. Like I will do it. So in that way, I do kind of like the FIRE movement. I think freedom is something that I value so much, and the idea of working a desk job until I'm 65 makes me depressed. Like I hate the idea of that. So there are aspects of FIRE that I really like. I just feel like I'm gonna do it my own way. And ultimately what my goal would be is that I find a career and a vocation that pays me enough but that I love doing so that it doesn't even feel like work. So I don't need to retire because my work already feels like retirement because it's fun. So that's what FIRE looks like to me. You know, to some it's like I'm gonna work my boring bank job and just save all of my money and then retire. I can't do that. I wanna be happy now. So that's kind of my take on the FIRE movement. I would love to know, if you're watching this and you are interested in FIRE, I would love to know your take on it down below. I think it's really interesting. And sometimes I wish I could be like that, like I said. But yeah, it's just not my reality. Another fun question, simple things that make you happy. Going on walks with my dog make me really happy. I love spending time with my friends. Something that makes me really happy is when I'm hanging out with my best friend Camilla and my boyfriend at the same time, because like the three of us just all get along and love to hang out. And sometimes I'll have these like moments where I'm hanging out with the two of them and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so lucky. Like I'm with two people who I love so much right now. So that's something simple that makes me happy. Cuddling with my dog. Like having a dog makes you appreciate simple things so much, because even just like the feeling of her fur makes me so happy. I love coffee. I love sitting on my couch in the sun, drinking coffee. I love reading. There's so many simple things that make me happy. And sometimes the simplest things make me the happiest, because when you're in that like rushing mindset that I was talking about earlier on, you don't appreciate these simple things. So when I am able to do and appreciate these simple things, it means that I'm in a good headspace. And so I'm like really extra triple happy. This is a cool question, probably one that is on a lot of people's minds, maybe for the new year, if you're looking to make supplemental income or change jobs. The question is where to look for freelance or remote jobs. Now, remote jobs, I found my remote job just on LinkedIn. A lot of companies themselves are remote, so you can just filter by like remote jobs, whether that's on Indeed, Glassdoor, wherever it is you look for jobs. But freelance and remote are two very different things. A remote job can still be a 9 to 5. You can still feel chained to your desk in a remote job. You're just chained to the desk that's in your house. A freelance job is where you make your own schedule, you sell your own services, such as a consultant, graphic design, etc. And where to find freelance jobs. I know of a few websites because I have some friends who are UX designers or coders, and they've worked on sites like Upwork. Fiverr is another one. And there's a third one that's like specifically for developers. If I remember, I'll put it on the screen. But yeah, there's tons of sites where you can go. If you are looking to become a freelancer, I would recommend advertising yourself on all of the websites because you never know where someone is going to be looking, and just like getting started. I think freelancing is really cool. It's totally something that I would see myself doing and that I would love to do. And those are just sites that have come across my eye as I've been looking into it. Okay, next question is, what is your favorite place to travel to? My favorite place that I've ever traveled to, besides Australia, because like I feel like I got to live there, so it was different, was actually Austin, Texas. If any of you guys live in Austin, comment down below. It was the most amazing trip. I spent half of the trip by myself because my dad forgot his passport. Like, it was expired when we got to the airport. So I had to go for a few days by myself and wait for him to meet up with me. It was my first time traveling by myself, and it was such a cool city. It was just fun. I loved the weather. People were so friendly. It felt safe. Like, everything about it was amazing. I always think that if I were to move to the States, I would love to move to Austin. It just seems like a great city, and I think it's actually like the fastest growing city either in North America or the world, something like that. It's like super crazy, super techie. It's just like, oh, it was so fun. And when I went, I wasn't 21 yet, so I didn't get to experience like the bars or the live music scene because I couldn't get in. And I would love to go back and experience that. A place that I am dying to go to, but I haven't had the chance yet, is Italy. I just really, really want to go to Italy. The next like big trip I take, it's going to be to Italy. Yeah. Oh, and another favorite place that was inside Canada that I got to go to this year was Banff, Alberta. So like Calgary. Oh my God, it was the best trip ever. I went with two of my best friends, Camilla and Mary, and we just like, it was so, so, so amazing. If you are in Canada or you can travel, like whatever, you know, things are crazy right now, but Banff, Alberta was just breathtaking. And it's so cool because I put that on my vision board last year. So for the year of 2021, I said that I wanted to go to Banff, specifically to go to Lake Louise. And I went, and it was beautiful. It was amazing. It was so special. Okay, I really like this question. I like all of them. That's why I'm answering them. But this question says, never grew up with a solid friend group. How to make friends in your 20s? I feel the same way. I had a solid friend group when I was in elementary school, and then we all sort of split up in middle school and high school, and it hasn't been until recently that I feel like I have a solid friend group. Now, the first thing I want to say is I think friend groups are a little bit overrated. Like, and I think it depends on the person, but like one-on-one friendships can be really special and really meaningful. And what I've done is I've really focused on nurturing my one-on-one friendships and then brought everyone together. Once you have a solid friendship with one person, it's easier to introduce them to your other friends. And if you get along with them and your other friend gets along with you, there's a chance that they will get along as well. So merging friends is like kind of scary at times, but exciting. And making friends can be hard. Like sometimes you just actually have to put yourself out there and be like, I would like to be your friend. You know, like, hey, this might sound weird, but you seem really cool. I'd like to be friends with you. Would you like to go for a coffee? Like, I've done that before. Places to meet friends can be work. It can be like at a gym. I've made a lot of friends just from like the gym that I go to. It's just so cool. I've met a lot of friends from work, and then also friends of friends, like getting introduced to them. I have a friend of a friend who I met years ago, and it wasn't until recently that we finally started spending more time together. And I recently got invited to her holiday party, her wedding. Like, it happens slowly and you can't rush these things. Like true friendship, you can't rush. So just, I feel you, like, keep going, keep putting yourself out there. Always be your most genuine and your most kind self, and always be honest. Like, there's no shame in being honest and being like, I really liked hanging out with you today, let's do this again. Like, put yourself out there. DM people on Instagram, like be like, hey, it was so cool hanging out with you today. Like, let's do it again. You know, I would love to invite you here. And that's the other thing, is be proactive and you be the one to invite them. Don't wait for someone to invite you. If they say no, yeah, it hurts, but you'll get over it. But be specific. Say, hey, do you want to come hang out at my pool next Saturday? Do you want to come to a spin class with me next Saturday? Do you want to go for coffee with me next Saturday? Like, be specific. It's kind of like asking someone out on a date, and you will get there and you will find your friend group. And you have to start too by being grateful for the friends that you have. That is very important. And you'll see the friends will come to you. Another question from the same person: is staying in Montreal your long-term goal? This is such a tough question because I really don't know. I could see myself like settling down here and having a family here, but I do want to experience living somewhere else before I like settle down and have kids. Places that I'd be open to living would be Vancouver, maybe Toronto, definitely New York, Austin, like I said. I would totally go overseas to like Europe, like London, maybe France. I would be open back to going to Australia. I've always been curious to live in Asia. And I did have plans to do all of these things. Like my previous job when I was working as a software consultant, a big reason why I took that job was because of its working remote possibilities. They had locations all over the world and it was really easy to get an office transfer. But then COVID happened and that no longer became an option. So it's just so tricky these days to know like what's coming next. Definitely on my bucket list, living in New York. Even if I only do it, I've been telling myself, like, even if I only do it for 3 months, if I get an Airbnb for 3 months and it costs me a fortune, but I just get to experience living in New York City for 3 months, like I will be happy and I will be able to check that off my bucket list. But yeah, I would be happy staying in Montreal long term. I think I would definitely need a cottage if I stay here. And like, I want to say I need enough money to go somewhere warm every year because I hate winter. Like, I just hate it so much. But I can tolerate it if I can get a vacation and if me or my friends have a cottage. That is so bougie of me, but yeah, that's how I've been feeling lately, because it's just like I would rather have a smaller place in the city and then have a second property elsewhere where I can feel like I'm getting a vacation, or at least enjoy winter. Like I can go skiing, snowshoeing, whatever. I would rather have like 2 smaller places than one like extravagant place in the city, if that makes sense. What is your MBTI, and have you seen indicators in your work/personal life? So my MBTI, that's my Myers-Briggs. I am ENFJ, which is extroverted, neurotic, I think. I forget what the F is for, and I forget what the J is for. Okay, but basically my personality type is like extroverted, leader, like forward thinking. Like the things I get compared to is like Oprah, which is such a compliment. And the honest answer, in my personal life, yes, in my work life, no. I don't feel like I've had any work experiences where I can really be my true self and shine. Like I think my truest self comes out on YouTube, and it comes out with my closest friends. And then, you know, yes, I feel like a leader. Like I feel like I can be quite inspiring, and I feel like I can be very forward thinking and like very grand thinking, big plans, motivated. But at work, like while working under people, I do feel a bit squashed, and I don't feel like I can bring that whole personality out at work. It's like always a block that I feel I've had. How do you stay motivated? That is such a hard question, because some days I have no motivation, and some days I allow the wave of no motivation to just like totally topple over me. On the other side, some days I have so much motivation and I don't even get up from my desk, or like I don't even eat because I'm just like so in the zone. It's really hard to stay motivated. You know, there's all those classic things about like you need to have a why, blah, blah, blah. A big motivator for me right now is financial. Like I just want to set myself up for future success and for comfort. I went through, you know, a year and a bit of having a lot of debt that caused me a lot of anxiety. And right now I'm working for a feeling of stability and a feeling of being set up for later in life. And that's just what motivates me right now, is like, yeah, I gotta work so I can make money, so I can feel like I'm on the right path and to reduce my stress. But it remains to be seen if having more money will make me less stressed. It remains to be seen, so stay tuned. This is kind of a deep question, but I can totally relate. It is, how do you deal with a sudden low after a while of finally feeling high? Now, I totally get this because I experience my emotions a lot in waves and in highs and lows. And when you've finally been feeling good and then you get hit with this low, it can feel like the low will never pass. It can feel very like overwhelming, and it can feel like it's like the end of the world. I just want to say, if your lows and highs are manic, if it's something that is totally out of control, you need to reach out for professional help. Like, this is not something to mess around with. Your mental health is so important. So I just want to say that. And even, you know, if they're not like crazy high and low, therapy can still be so helpful. And it's just so helpful to have a reminder. I have like a sticky note up on my wall that says like, this will pass. You know, these feelings of low will pass. And as sad as it is that the feelings of high will pass, they pass too. And you just have to remember that emotions are fluid. Nothing stays the same forever. And therapy can be really helpful. Asking your friends to remind you like, hey, this is gonna pass. That can be really helpful. And also journaling, because when you journal, you have a written account of your feelings, so you can look back. So make sure that you don't only journal when you're low, so that if you look back, it's always sad. But remember to journal when you're feeling really good too, so that you can look back and be like, oh yeah, I felt good once, I will feel good again. Everything passes, and it all comes in its cycles and its waves, and it's normal. And as annoying as it is, it's one of the beautiful parts about being humans, is that we get to feel this whole range of emotions. The other thing I like to remind myself of is, with the lows come really beautiful highs. If you experience very low lows, if you're experiencing more intense, dramatic lows, it also just means that you feel more fully, and that you get to feel your highs more fully too. So sometimes I can think of my lows as a consequence of feeling really, really good sometimes. And it's okay to look at it that way, because it's like, okay, if I just ride out this low, I know I'll get back to this point of feeling really good, and it will be worth it, because everything balances each other out. But if, again, I just want to reiterate, if your highs and lows are out of control, if they are overbearing, if your lows are depressive, you need to see a therapist, you need to tell your doctor, you need to tell somebody you trust, because that is not something to mess around with. I just took a quick break so that my camera wouldn't overheat, and I forgot that I wanted to show you guys in this video some new books that I got just like for the new year. Something that I really like, I don't think I've ever talked about on camera. I have a weird obsession with birth and pregnancy. I sometimes think that later on in my life I will have a career like as a doula or a midwife, but like, of course, I want to have my own children first, not anytime soon. Like, it's such a weird thing, and whenever I tell people about this, they're like, what the heck? Like, okay. Anyways, along with that, I want to, and this is something I've been wanting for a long time, is to learn more about women's health. So I ordered an agenda. Okay, this is my new agenda for the new year, which I'm so excited about. But when I was ordering it, I needed to spend a bit more money to get free shipping, and I thought that I would use this opportunity to get 2 new books. So I'll show you this one first. It's called The Vagina Bible by Dr. Jen Gunter. So it's all about like everything to do with the vagina, women's health, things about cysts, the microbiome, hygiene, everything, the full glory of the clitoris and the myth of the G-spot. Like, this is stuff that we need to know, that I need to know. So I'm so excited to start reading this. And then this next one was on sale, also by Dr. Jen Gunter, which is the Menopause Manifesto. Now, obviously I'm nowhere near going into menopause, but there are women in my life who are going through menopause, have gone through menopause, and I don't know, I thought since this subject interests me, I would learn about it. Maybe I could give my knowledge to my mom and to my stepmom, like to the women in my life, and even just for myself later on. And I just think it's genuinely interesting reading. So yeah, these are my 3 new books that I wanted to share with you guys. I thought it would be fun to let you in on my little obsession with birth and pregnancy, and that I would like to, you know, extend it into women's health in general. And I thought too, you know, it's a lot of women who watch my channel, and maybe this is the kind of thing that you would like to talk more about on YouTube. So let me know and we can chat. Okay, we got more questions. Let's answer them. I'm having so much fun. I hope you guys are enjoying this video. My sister wants to know, when am I coming home? Okay, what do you like most about summer? Good question. I love the feeling of just freedom. I love feeling like the warm air against your skin and in your hair, the feeling of sunshine. I love summer. I love sitting outside and eating. I love putting on a cute outfit and walking to a restaurant or to the park. I just love feeling free. It's so amazing. I have imposter syndrome and my work gives me anxiety. Any advice? Quit your job. No, I'm kidding. But I don't think work is meant to give us that much anxiety. So the first thing I would say is like actually reflect and like, is this the right job for you? Like, is it? Sometimes we stay in jobs for all the wrong reasons, whether it's status, whether it's feeling like we should. I don't think money is necessarily the wrong reason if you really need the money. But if it's something like status, if it's to please your parents, you do need to reflect if that is the right situation for you. The job that gave me the most anxiety was my most toxic job, and leaving was the best choice I ever made. So I always stand by that. You need to reflect if that is the right thing for you. Imposter syndrome is so tough, and I do think it takes time to overcome, but have yourself, like, write down for yourself, remember when you were interviewing for this job and you believed you could do it? Remember when your friends and your parents were proud of you? Like, those kinds of feelings, if you can write them down or just channel them inside of you and have them stored in your mind or on paper to always go back to and remember. And just remember that imposter syndrome is fake. Like, it's your brain and your anxiety lying to you. It's not who you are. It's not real. I used to feel stupid all the time, and it took so long for me to be able to confidently say to myself, like, I'm not stupid. And it took reminding myself, like, shh, Zoe, you're not stupid, you know? And it took also confiding in my mom and my friends for them to remind me too, like, you're not stupid. There's a reason you got this job. There's a reason they selected you. You are not stupid. You are capable. You can do it. Have those positive validations come from yourself, come from people around you. Have multiple people who can be your cheerleading team. It's okay. You don't need to solve it just with you from within. Like, you can ask for help and it's okay. And another thing is, if you feel comfortable, you can open up to your manager about this and say, hey, I'm experiencing a little bit of imposter syndrome. Can you help coach me through this? And they will probably tell you that you're doing great, and that will help you a lot. Now, the last thing I want to say is asking for constant feedback, like maybe once a week if you have a one-on-one, just being like, hey, how am I doing? That can go a really long way too, because having that external validation, the same way that it can be helpful if it comes from your friends or from your parents, is even better and even more meaningful when it comes from your boss. Now, you don't want to ask too much. You don't want to be too like, oh, wait, how am I doing? Like, you have to be careful. You always have to stay professional. But I do think being open and just being like, hey, I'm experiencing a bit of imposter syndrome this week. Like, can you give me some feedback? Or let's say you have a big presentation coming up, say, telling your manager like, hey, I'm a little bit nervous. Can we run through this together? Can you give me a bit of coaching? Framing it that way can be really helpful, and you will get through it. It will pass. I think at all stages in our life, imposter syndrome will continuously fade and come back in and fade, come back in. My movements were not in line with what I was saying there, but you know what I mean. And just making sure that you are equipped to build yourself up, and having your friends and family around you be equipped as well is really important. It's always important to lean on those around us. That was a lesson I really learned this year, was it's okay to ask for help, and you can get through things so much better when you trust the people around you and you allow them to help you, because you would probably do it for others, so why not let others do it for you too? Any plans or thoughts of moving in with your boyfriend in the near future? We think about it. Like, sometimes we kind of like to like fantasize about it, like, oh, we could have a house like this, we could have an apartment like that. And that's what I would call like playing house, I guess. There's a part of me that doesn't want to move in with a boyfriend until I'm engaged, or at least I know that engagement is on the table. To me, moving in with someone is a very big deal, and in a perfect world, I only want to live with like one boyfriend. I want to only live with like the person that I marry. just because it's like something that I want to be so special. So for that reason, I'm not in a rush. I feel like I've seen so many people, so many stories of people moving in with their boyfriend and then things go south and suddenly you have all this stuff tied up together. You have furniture that you bought together. You have like maybe a mortgage, like all these things tied together, and like breakups are hard enough to have to go through that, dealing with a lease or a mortgage or, you know, really expensive couch that you bought together, like just doesn't appeal to me. So as much as I think it would be wonderful to live with him and amazing, and you know, like we are committed to each other, like I just keep saying, and like we keep saying to each other, there's no rush. We both have great apartments, so like it's pretty fun right now, just, you know, him coming here, me going there. We're just in a really good, like comfortable situation right now, and I don't know, there's no plans on the table for when to move in together. I think it'll just kind of happen, and it might just be impulsive or it might be planned. I don't know. I'm so mature, I'm so mature. Okay, you guys, I'm going to end off with a super juicy question that is so relevant to the time of year that it is. How to not feel guilty about holiday spending, and do you feel that way in December? Let me tell you, yes, I am going through a lot of financial anxiety right now, just realizing how much money is owing on my credit card, how much I've spent just like on gifts, and I hope they like it. I hope it's worth it. I hope they appreciate it. Things like that. Also like spending money on buying myself gifts or myself like outfits for the holidays. Oh, I totally feel you. The way I would say to not feel guilty is to remember that this is a period that will pass. Like this is 1 month out of the year, and the next months that are coming up are like, they're known to be the dead months. They're known to be the dead shopping months. And so to ease your guilt, what I would recommend is just, one, think about how much you love the people that you spent money on gifts for. Think about how much they deserve it. At least I hope they do. And I hope you love the people you bought gifts for. Otherwise, stop spending money on them, okay? Learn for next year. If you don't love this person, if you don't need to buy them a gift, you're just buying a gift because you feel guilty, don't do that. Like, I've personally stopped buying gifts for most people, even the people that I love, but just because it's like we're all adults now, we can all afford our own things. So I bought gifts for my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, and that's pretty much it, and my boyfriend. But yeah, I didn't really do gifts with friends this year because it was just like, I love you, but we all want to save our money, and we've all spent the year buying ourselves things that we want, so we don't really need gifts. That's just my opinion. But yeah, to ease your guilt, make a plan for after the holidays to start saving money. It's too late, it's done, and it's unfortunately just this consumerism filled time of year. So make a plan for going forward. How are you going to bounce back in January? You know, do a no spend month in January, plan something like that. I have so many videos you can binge to help get you motivated. And hopefully that will ease the guilt. And on that note, I should go watch some of my own videos and take my own advice, because I'm feeling so guilty and very anxious about finances at the moment. Okay, you guys, I am going to end off this video here. Thank you so much to everyone who submitted questions. I love doing Q&As. They are always so long, but so fun and intimate. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you again to Enroute for sponsoring. It just means so much to me to work with fun brands like this. Thank you guys for giving me, you know, a platform where I'm able to work with brands that I love. Thank you again for spending the past minutes with me, whether you watched one question, whether you watched them all. I appreciate it so much, and I will see you all in my next video. Mwah. Bye.